Today we're going to take a look at what I think are the top 10 LEGO Star Wars sets from the very first Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Over the past few weeks, I have been ranking the top 10 LEGO Star Wars sets from the Star Wars prequel movies, working backwards, starting with Revenge of the Sith, and then Attack of the Clones, and then The Phantom Menace, and now it is time to move into the original trilogy, starting off with A New Hope. Now before I get into the top 10, I do have to say, sadly, I could not include UCS sets in this list. I really didn't want to have to exclude UCS sets because that's what everyone else does, and I don't like doing what everyone else does. But when I started working on the list, I really didn't realize how many UCS sets there actually are from this movie. And it got to the point where there was just like 6 different UCS sets in the top 10, and I was like, alright, this is just not gonna work. Although on a good note, I am including Master Builder series sets. Starting off with the honorable mentions, the first honorable mention, or the 13th spot, I have 9493 X-Wing Fighter. In 2012, this was an absolutely amazing X-Wing, and at the time, it was the best one that LEGO had made. Although today, in 2023, this set just doesn't really hold up as much, especially compared to the newer X-Wings like the 2018 version. That does not make it a bad set in any way, it just does not hold up to some of the newer ones. And then onto the next honorable mention, or the number 12 spot, I have 75052 Mos Eisley Cantina. Now I think this is by far the best playscale version of the Cantina that LEGO has made. It looks good on display and has a lot of functionality, and it includes an awesome dewback as well as Luke's lane speeder and an amazing lineup of minifigures. And honestly, it kind of pains me that I had to put this set in the honorable mentions, but there are just too many other sets from this movie that I find better than it. And then on to the last honorable mention, or the number 11 spot, I have a 9495 Gold Leaders Y-Wing. This set was released in 2012 along with the X-Wing that got the 13th spot, and I think for a Y-Wing this was definitely a pretty solid build. I think Y-Wings just look very cool in general, that's why I had to put it over the Mos Eisley Cantina, although the reason it did not make the top 10 is because in the back section I feel like there is not enough greebling back there. There's a lot of exposed studs and it just looks pretty bare boned. I know that's how Y-Wings are supposed to look, but LEGO just did not execute this one in the best way possible. So because of that, on this Y-Wing, I think there is another older version of the Y-Wing that is just a little bit better, which comes in at our number 10 spot. 7658 Y-Wing Fighter was released in January of 2007 and retired in July of 2008. It has 454 pieces and had an original retail price of $40 US. And if you want this set new today, it's only going for around $130 to $150, which in my opinion is actually a really good deal considering this set is from 2007. Anyhow, the reason I put it over the 2012 Y-Wing is because LEGO just captured the overall size and shape of the Y-Wing a lot better here, specifically in the back portion. It's not super skinny and bare bones looking like the 2012 version is, and it actually captures the thickness and the beefiness that Y-Wings have in Star Wars, while at the same time making it look like a pretty scrappy used ship. Also, I think the cockpit area looks a lot better on this Y-Wing as well, as it's just a little bit thinner and a lot sleeker and not as blocky looking, and it just overall represents the look of a Y-Wing a little bit better, and that is why I put it at the number 10 spot over the 2012 Y-Wing. On to the number 9 spot, I have 7659 Imperial Landing Craft. This set was released in January of 2007 and retired in December of 2008. It has 471 pieces and had an original retail price of $50 US. Although if you want this set new sealed in the box today in 2023, you're going to be looking at paying around $160 to $200. Now the age in this ship definitely shows, as it does look pretty outdated, and for some reason there's a lot of gray pieces in the wings which I really don't understand. They should be all white, and the cockpit looks a bit dated as well, although aside from the wings and the cockpit, the main body of the ship does look really good and very sleek, and it also has one of those rare mega missiles on the bottom, which is always a fun play feature. But the main reason that I put this set in the number 9 spot is because of the amount of stormtroopers you get. You get 2 normal stormtroopers, 2 sand troopers, and then an Imperial pilot, and I think this was an amazing deal for $50, and it's rare to see this many sand troopers in one set. And also it actually makes the set feel like a landing craft, which is supposed to carry a large number of troopers, and LEGO just executed that very well here. Although sadly I could not put it up higher on this list because, like I said, the build is pretty outdated. Onto the number 8 spot, this one might be a little bit controversial, but I have 7965 Millennium Falcon. This set was released in June of 2011 and retired in December of 2014. It has 1,254 pieces and had an original retail price of $140, although if you want this set new sealed in the box today, you're going to be looking at paying around $300 to $400. Now this was definitely a great set for 2011 and a much needed set as well, because before this we had not gotten a playscale version of the Millennium Falcon since 2004, and then 7 years later LEGO finally delivered. And I think the set does look very good and has your typical episode 4 lineup of minifigures, including Ben Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han Solo, and Chewie, and then Darth Vader was thrown in there as well. Although the reason I did not put it up higher on this list is because the interior is a little bit bare, especially compared to the newer playscale Millennium Falcons, and it's always kind of bothered me how the panels slope upwards to the top. I know they had to do this to make rooms for the minifigures to stand up inside there, but it's just always bugged me because the top should be completely flat. Onto the number 7 spot, I have 75218 X-Wing Starfighter. This set was released in August of 2018 and retired in December of 2019. It has 731 pieces and had an original retail price of $80 US. Although if you want this set new, sealed in the box today, you're going to be looking at paying around $130. Now I think without a doubt, by far, this is the best playscale version of the X-Wing that LEGO has ever made. They got the proportions down perfectly, they got the colors down perfectly, they got the size down perfectly, and on top of that, I think the minifigures are amazing as well. A lot of people say they don't like the helmets with the visors molded into them because it makes the helmets look a little bit bulky, but I actually think that's a lot better because the X-Wing pilot helmets in Star Wars are pretty bulky, and it makes it to where the face shield piece does not have to be printed onto the minifigure's head, so when you take the helmet off, it is just a normal minifigure face. And all those reasons is why I think this set by far deserves the number 7 spot. I honestly wish I could put it up higher just because I love this set so much, but there are just so many other sets from this movie that are way better than it. Onto the number 6 spot, I have 75221 Imperial Landing Craft. This set was released in August of 2018 and retired in December of 2019. It has 636 pieces and had an original retail price of $90 US. Although if you want this set new sealed in the box today, it is going for around $160 to $200. Now back in 2018 when this set was first announced, a lot of people were very upset about the price, and I have to admit I was definitely one of those people. Although then I realized the reason it was so expensive is because there are a lot of large pieces in this set, especially in the center area around the body, and then that along with the amazing minifigure lineup makes this price justified to me. And then speaking of the minifigures, you get 2 incredible sand troopers as well as an Imperial officer, and then old Ben Kenobi along with R2-D2, which I feel like was a little bit of a strange inclusion in this set. It definitely would have been a lot better if it was just 4 sand troopers and then the officer, but nevertheless getting an updated Ben Kenobi was alright, I guess. And then on top of that, the build is just really good and clearly a significant upgrade from the 2007 version, and that is why I put it at the number 6 spot. Onto the number 5 spot, I have 6211 Imperial Star Destroyer. This set was released in June of 2006 and retired in December of 2008. It has 1,367 pieces and had an original retail price of only $100. Although if you want this set new sealed in the box today in 2023, you're going to be looking at paying around $600 to $700. Now this is definitely a very iconic set as it was the very first playscale version of a Star Destroyer that LEGO had made. They made the UCS one in 2002, but this was the very first playscale version that was cheaper and more affordable for most people, and I think they really did a great job on everything but the bridge. They made it to where you can actually fit minifigures up in the bridge area, and they left this little window open where they can see through, and I guess it's a fun play feature, but it really does take away from the look of the build and the look of a Star Destroyer. That's really the only problem I have with this set. Everything else is perfect, and it was a great set for 2006. Onto the number 4 spot, I have 10198 Tantum 4. This set was released in September of 2009 and retired in December of 2011. It has 1,408 pieces and had an original retail price of $150 US. Although if you want this set new sealed in the box today, it is going for around $350 to $400. Now if you didn't know this set being released in 2009, it was part of the 10-year anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, and for 2009 I think this was a great model of the Tantum 4 or the Rebel Blockade Runner, whatever you want to call it. Although the only complaint I have is that it is a little bit bulky in some areas. I think overall it should just be a little bit longer with the middle section being a bit skinnier. Other than that, I think this is a great build and a really amazing set for 2009, and I think it served the 10-year anniversary of the LEGO Star Wars theme very well. And then onto the number 3 spot, I have 75055 Imperial Star Destroyer. This set was released in June of 2014 and retired in December of 2015. It has 1,359 pieces and had an original retail price of $130. And if you want this set new sealed in the box today, it is going for around $400 to $450. Now this set was released in the peak year of LEGO Star Wars, being 2014. As some of you might know, I consider that to be by far the best year of LEGO Star Wars because we got a huge variety of top tier Star Wars sets, and this was definitely one of them. As you can tell, the build is obviously a significant upgrade from the 2006 version, and they sacrificed the play feature of being able to put minifigures in the bridge to actually make it look good. And I think LEGO just did an amazing job on this set, and sadly as of now in September of 2023, this is the last playscale version of the Star Destroyer that LEGO has made. It's been almost a decade since this set has been released, and I think we're definitely past due for a new one, but until then, I think this set definitely deserves the number 3 spot for the best sets from this movie. Coming in at the number 2 spot, I have 75244 Tantum 4. This set was released in May of 2019 and retired in December of 2020. It has 1,700 768 pieces and had an original retail price of $200 US. And if you want this set new sealed in the box today, it is going for around $300 to $350. Now this set being released in 2019, it was part of the 20th year anniversary of the LEGO Star Wars theme, just like how the last Tandem 4 I just talked about was part of the 10-year anniversary because it was released in 2009. This one is part of the 20th year anniversary, and 10 years later from the 2009 one, I think they did an amazing job, and it's obviously a significant upgrade. It's definitely way more accurate, and they got the proportions down perfectly, which like I said was a problem with the last one, and overall it's just a gorgeous model with amazing minifigures, and I think by far it deserves the number 2 spot. And then on to the number 1 spot as the best LEGO Star Wars set from Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, I have 75290 Mos Eisley Cantina. This set was released in October of 2020 and it has still not retired yet. It has 3,187 pieces and has a retail price of $400 US. Man, is this set just perfect. And honestly, I'd go so far to say that it is the first and only LEGO Star Wars modular set. First off, the actual cantina itself is amazing with detail all around it, making a complete building, and then you can open it up to reveal a complete interior and it just looks absolutely incredible. And there's also plenty of side builds and speeders to go along with it, as well as another little side building. And then on top of that, you get 21 minifigures in this set, from the Sand Troopers to Luke and Ben Kenobi, and of course Ponda Baba and Dr. Cornelius, and then to all the other cool and unique aliens that were in the Mos Eisley Cantina during this scene. It really just has everything you'd want. I would rate this set a perfect 10 out of 10, and that is why I think it by far deserves the number 1 spot. Anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you think about this list down in the comments below, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them on the end screen right now.